Internet, it's Danny. Hi, hello. I know it's been a while. I'm still just as nervous filming these videos. Um, but they're very good exposures, which is good for anxiety. So, um, like I said last video, this will be about grammar and words that sound the same. Okay, before we get started, I have a serious question to ask you. Do you like the yellow light? That's my question. Do you like the yellow light? Because, well, you're the one who has to see me. You're the ones who have to see me. So do you like the yellow light, or do you want like a white light, like I have this one right here? Do you want this, or do you want like the softer light? Leave it in the comments. We're gonna film with the yellow light right now. The lighting looks a lot better than last video. Last video I looked like a light bright. I'm judging myself. Jesus. So last video I went over the rules and the alphabet and so on and so forth. I know these videos are long. I'm so sorry that these are so long. But there's a reason that they're so long, and it's just the explanations that take such a long time. So grab your pencils, grab your pens. We're going to need 2 pens today. So for grammar, I would suggest using a blue pen, and for your notes, either use a black pen, this one right here, or a pencil. I don't really mind. I am going to be using 2 different notepads today. I know, shocking. This one is for like explanations of small words like I used last time, and this one will be for more complicated words and so on and so forth. Today I will also be teaching you words that sound the same and that are spelt the same but aren't the same whatsoever, and they're used completely different. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so first thing we're going to start with is the genders, which I covered last video just briefly when I was doing the introduction to French. So just to recap, in French we have 2 genders, technically 3 genders, but we don't really use the third one. We have masculine and feminine. These are genders for inanimate objects. So inanimate objects have male and female genders. Humans, like myself, have 3. The third one isn't really known because it's a newer pronoun. So when we're talking about inanimate objects, we use il and elle. Il is the masculine pronoun for inanimate objects. No, le is, yeah, le, and then la is for feminine inanimate objects. Il is for boys, elle is for girls, and il, which is a mix of the two, is for people that are non-binary or have they them pronouns, so just myself. The ways to recognize gender, if they end with an E, they are feminine. I can use the example of car in French, which is voiture, une voiture. So it would be, let me write it for you. Une voiture. So if it has an E at the end, it is feminine. Nouns ending in age or isme or ment are usually masculine. I can't really think of the exceptions right now, but they're usually masculine. For example, we can use cheese in French, which is un fromage or fromage in general. Let me write it for you. So our fromage, so it ends with age. Voiture ends with an e, so it's feminine. Fromage ends with age, which makes it masculine. Now we're going to move on. I'm moving on very quickly. I really shouldn't do that. Okay. So if we're trying to tell humans and inanimate objects apart, we would specify what you're talking about, like you do in English. You specify what type of thing you're talking about. So yeah, that's the pronouns for you. So now we're gonna go to singular and plural. So in singular, there's no added letters, so there's no like e, or like there's no silent letters at the end that aren't already part of the word. We can, for this example, we can use cat. Let me write that for you as well. So it's spelled chat, and yeah, but it's called chat. The T is silent. And for plural, we can use the exact same thing. So for plural, it would be des chats. Des is the cats. So you add. So you take the. Let me show you. I'm gonna write it for you. So you see, I added an S at the end. And what you do with that is you take the S from de, and you do like a little glasses thing. So it's like a smiley face. So you take this, the S, and you add it to the end of the word. Breathing is hard. Anyway, so as we did with the pronouns and genders and stuff, words ending in eau or eu or x. For example, bureau. There's un bureau and des bureaux. The bureau has eau x in it. There's also bateau, which can also be used in this situation. So, no, in that situation, it's... I'm gonna write bateau for you. So, bateau ends with eau, which is also eau, water in French. And then bureau, I will write that for you as well. No, bateau, but I'm sorry. So when it comes to words like bateau, instead of putting the S that you would put, for example, at the end from de, you replace it with an X. So there are certain words that you can do this with. It gets very confusing. My apologies. It doesn't really sound like that in speaking terms when you're talking. So yeah, there's that. I'm moving on to articles, which I did cover last video as well. I don't think I went in depth on it last video, so I'm gonna do that this time. New page. We're gonna go in depth on it. So sorry, using the pink ones. So you have your type of article. Your type. We have defined So we have défini, or the. You can put the in parentheses. You have indéfini. I will show you this after. You can copy it. And we have partitive. As I said last video, I have dyslexia, so reading is very difficult for me. So, take what I tell you with like in English today. So we have défini, indéfini, and partitive. I think that's how you say it. I'm sorry, my handwriting looks like chicken scratch. So we have the, which is this one. Oop. A, an, and some. And we have some and any at the bottom. So those are your different types of articles. Now we move on to the masculine, feminine, and plural articles, which I will write out for you. So the masculine pronouns are for défini. We have le / L apostrophe. So let me write this in a pen so it makes more sense. So you have your type. And currently we're going with type masculine. The type of pronoun is masculine in this situation. So let me show you that. So masculine, we have LE, which is the male pronoun for inanimate objects, bottom, and then we have L apostrophe, which is basically the same thing. I will explain in another video. I promise that will be explained. We have R, which is spelled UN, and we have du, which is spelled DU. Let me show you that. Oh, sorry, I'm very itchy today, and I don't know why. So, yeah, right there. So, pause the video if I'm going too quickly. Now, moving on to feminine pronouns. Let me write these for you. So, in the feminine pronouns, we have la, which is spelled L-A, and we also have L apostrophe. Now, at the end, the word will depend on, so the L is le and la, it's masculine and feminine, when on its own, but if it's not with, so for example, if we have, I can't think of a word that we can use for this, but there's very specific things. If it has an E at the end, the L apostrophe, oh, I can use échelle for this. So échelle is ladder. So we can use échelle. This is feminine. So you see the E at the end? The E makes it a feminine word. If it doesn't have an E, then it's masculine. Does that make sense? Okay. Then we have une, which is spelled U-N-E. And then we have de la, de la. So right there, yep. So, and now we have the plural or pluriel. Let me write these out for you. So in the pluriel, we have, I explained these last video. So we have les, les, des. So let me explain this. I'm gonna write, hold on. So we have in the pluriel, it gets confusing. French gets very confusing sometimes. Trust me, it is confusing, even for me. And I've been speaking French my entire life. French is a hard language to learn, and I am so happy that you are learning it, and that some of you are relearning it or just catching up. But for those of you who are learning this for the very first time, I'm happy that you chose French as the language you wanted to learn. I'm very happy about that, because not very many people would want to learn French because they would think it's too hard, or because they don't have the patience. And trust me, learning French takes some patience. It's kind of like learning like Chinese or Arabic or even Thai. It takes a lot of patience. Practice does not make perfect, it makes progress, and progress is very good. It's what we like to see. I definitely like to see progress. If you are practicing this and you have no one else around you that is learning French, practice in front of a mirror. That's what I did when I practiced my English or just any language that I'm learning. I practice in front of a mirror because what it does is it helps you build up the confidence. You can also do this before, like you go for like a speech or something. Practice in front of a mirror. I find that practicing in front of a mirror helps a lot, especially when you are very, very nervous. It helps cool down the nerves, and it helps reassure you basically that it's all gonna be fine, and so on. So I know that learning a new language can be very scary. I understand that. Trust me, I do. As someone who is currently learning 6 languages, I understand the struggle. I get it. Learning languages is scary. Trust me, it's fucking terrifying. I don't usually curse in these videos. I'm so sorry. It is very scary when you are learning a language that you are not used to, especially when it comes to writing in said language. But I am very proud of you for taking the time to learn how to write these, and I am very happy that you are very patient with me. So yeah, I will now give you examples that we can use. I already gave you one with échelle. Yeah, I gave you an example with échelle. Some other examples that we can use are chien, le chien, which means the dog. We have our livre, which is a book. And we have some bread, which in French is du pain. So it can look a bit silly, because if you don't know, bread in French is pain, which is spelled P-A-I-N, which in English is pain. So in French, instead of saying la peine, we say la douleur, which is like I'm in pain. Yeah, French is funny sometimes. French sometimes does funny things. So you now have some examples. And if you all really want, I can take pictures of these, of like my note sheets and stuff, and I can like put them, like I can make like a community post, if you want to. Like just tell me in the comments if that's what you want. This video might be separated into 2 videos because this is a very long list of stuff that I have to teach you. So this might be separated into 2 videos. I know people hate 2-part things. I'm so sorry. But I promise you I will try not to make you wait so long for the next one. It's just I will have to find time to do it. And by the way, I film all of these videos at my mom's house, and I'm not here all the time. So yeah, now let's move on to adjectives. So what I taught you were articles, and now I get to teach you adjectives. Adjectives I find are very fun. I personally, I like adjectives. I can English today. So adjectives agree in gender and numbers. For the noun or nouns they describe. So we're going to start off with masculine, feminine, using the yellow ones again. I like the yellow ones. I don't know why I like these so much. They're very useful for these videos. You can buy these at Staples. That's where I got mine. Yeah. So for masculine and feminine adjectives, these ones are by far my favorite. Let me write these out for you. So we have petit, which means small. That's the masculine version. So and then the feminine version is petite. So there's an E at the end. So I will show you these after I'm done writing them. T-E. So we have petit and petite. Petit is right here. So petit and petite, they mean the exact same thing. It's just depending on the gender. As I stated, I don't think I mentioned this, but French is really based on gender, like a lot. We have grand and grande, which mean big in French. Let me write these. I don't know why I love adjectives so much. I just do. They're like really fun for me to write. I don't know why. So as I said, they both mean big. Yeah, right there. So G-R-A-N-D for grand and G-R-A-N-D-E. So G-R-A-N-D for the masculine version, G-R-A-N-D-E for the feminine version of big. There's heureux and heureuse. This is one of the words that use an X. So heureux uses an X. I'm gonna write it for you. They mean happy, by the way. Heureux and heureuse both mean happy. So, yeah, they both mean happy. Those are some of my favorite adjectives ever. I will teach you 2 more adjectives and then I will end the video. And then I'll do part 2 later. So now we're moving on to singular and plural adjectives. So now we have singular and plural adjectives. So remember petit from the first little bit? So for the plural masculine version of that, you add an S. So just rewrite it and you write an S. And then for the feminine version, you also add an S at the end after the E. So, yeah. So yeah. And for adjective placement, which is footnote, you use adjectives. Well, most adjectives come after like a sentence, but also some come before, like in terms of like goodness, age, size, and beauty. We can also use, for example, we can use un petit garçon, which is a small boy. That's what it means. And for when adjectives, I'm tired. When adjectives come after, we can use un chat noir. So noir is the color black in French. So that's all for right now. That's all for today. I will again put all the links and stuff in the description box. So I will put Ce n'est pas sorcier, which I strongly recommend you check out because I love them so much. I will also put the French study guide that I use in the description box as well. Have a good night, good day, good afternoon, depending on where you live, and I will see you later.